there was a lot of women there, of course, and there were different groups of them. And I went and I listened in to some of the things that different groups of women were saying. And all of them, well, not all of them, but the majority of the women that I heard talking were there because they thought, wow, being a cop would be an adrenaline rush. I mean, they said things like that and much more. None of them said, we want to help the community. None of them said that they were there for altruistic motives like I was. I wanted to help out the community. I wanted to help people. None of them said that. All I heard was basically the adrenaline rush, the control, and being able to tell people what to do. And I thought, my God, these are the people I would have to work with. And then I thought, these are the people that are being hired to be a servant to me with my tax dollars. This is what we're getting? Yes, adrenaline junkies. That's all. I could not believe they said they were there for the adrenaline rush. And in fact, a few years around that same time, there was a billboard that said something like that effect by the police department or the sheriff's department that said, "Come work for us and get your adrenaline rush." I took a picture of it. My God, that picture's someplace in my archive. I could not believe that they had something like that on our roadway, telling people, "Come work for us," and then there were the wolf packs. The sheriffs started the wolf packs in the. I don't remember.
I remember that at the Saturday Morning Breakfast Club. You asked a question, and that Pima County Sheriff's representative said that was a very bad name and a bad call or something of that nature.
Yes, because what does a pack of wolves do? They tear a person apart. What is a SWAT? When you think of SWAT, what do you think of? You think of somebody swatting a fly.
Well, now, because of the history with Pima County, I think of a firing squad, military style.
A fly, a firing squad. You're killing the little people. You know, I mean, none of this stuff psychologically, for crying out loud, what they're doing is making these people, making everybody scared of them. And is that what they want? Is that what they really want, is for the public to be afraid of them? I mean, these cop shows have desensitized people to their liberties and their rights, because the cop show never show you how many of those people that they've arrested and violated and thrown into cars, how many of those cases have been dismissed because of faulty police brutality, et cetera, et cetera. They never show that on the cop shows. All they show is the desensitization to our public, to our young people, that, oh yeah, the cops can get away with this. It's wrong. It's wrong. What's happened to our country? We're allowing all this. Oh my God, it's wrong. I mean, growing up in the 40s and 50s, you know, I saw a different America. It was nothing like, cops never did this. They were good. We could go to them and talk to them. Nowadays, if I smile at a police officer and say hello, they look at me and turn and frown their eyes and act like I'm a, what are you saying good day for? You know, it's crazy. It's crazy. We've become the enemies, and it's all because of this war on drugs. It's a shame to this country what has happened with this war on drugs. My God, they've taken away our freedoms. They say, well, give me an instance of your liberty being lost. You have to have been with liberties before you know what liberties you've lost. And our young people don't know what liberties they've lost. Anybody born after the 60s, if they didn't have a parent who was into it, don't know what liberty was really like. Sorry, I went on a rant.
Huh?
I'm sorry I went on a rant.
Well, that's okay.
I can't believe how much our country has changed. I cry for our country. I cry for the people who think they have freedom, and they don't even know what it was like when we did have freedom, when we did have our rights. We've lost so many rights, and you don't know it until they step into your doorway and tell you, oh, this is the law. What?
Well,
when did that change?
It never did. The problem, once again, is it's not just the war on drugs, it's the Constitution. They say they know it, understand it, respect it, but they don't know how to abide by it. They
need to talk to Sheriff Mack. All these people need to listen to
Are you kidding? Dupnick's not going to let his people talk to Sheriff Mack. Where was Dupnick to honor his oath when Mack was fighting the Brady Bill? Dupnick sat idle and violated his oath, in my opinion.
Dupnick sits in his ivory tower and won't let anybody see him except the news media when he desires to have the news coverage.
Speaking of such, I've been denied again an appointment, and they recently threatened me through Internal Affairs under the guise of with unlawful imprisonment or the guise of harassment and trespassing for doing records requests, being a First Amendment investigative journalist, and obtaining information for my complaint.
Some woman was investigating this Wiener case, and she was in Wiener's office. She was a journalist in Wiener's office, and they actually told her the same thing they told you, that she had to get out of there or she would be arrested. If she was told that to get out of there, she needed to leave or she would be arrested. When? We're paying their wages.
Well,
when does a journalist get told to get out or they'll be arrested?
When a free press is no longer a free press, when they violate the First Amendment under the guise of any statute and threaten to make an unlawful imprisonment, that's when it's corruption, it's exposed, you saw it, it happens.
She said it on the news this morning, in this Wiener case. The Wiener case. I don't know if you know anything about the Wiener case, but it's about his Wiener.
They're referring to all the government guys, aren't they?
His name is Wiener, and somebody put a posting of supposedly his crotch area and sent it to some young girl, and he's saying that it wasn't him, that his iPad or whatever was hacked, and yet he won't call the police to find out who the hacker was, and it's a federal offense to hack. So they're saying that he needs to come clean, or he did actually send the email or Twitter or whatever it was.
Because if it's a federal offense and he's not reporting it, he could be obstructing.
Exactly what they're saying. So this reporter was up there trying to get information. She's from New York, and he's from New York, or I guess wherever it's at. And she's from that area, and he said, well, his secretary said, well, he's already talked for 9 hours to the press. She said, that's to the Associated Press. He hasn't talked to the people, in his constituents in his own area. And that's when they told her to leave, and that's when the police escorted her out, just as you said was happening to you. This is wrong. This is not America. This is getting more and more like Gestapo Germany, and anybody that says it's not has not read their history. This is the way it begins. I'm not saying we're at Gestapo Germany. I'm saying that this is the first stepping stone, or this is the first domino, and when you push it over, the other dominoes are going to go down unless we stand up against it.
How about the issue at the Justice Court, where you were there as an investigative journalist, and you watched them steal my voice recorder? You watched them give it back when their policy was shown to them from the administrator of the Pima County Justice Court, and then you didn't get to see them escort me out and threaten me with trespassing for interviewing you and getting your side of the story of what you saw and the Fourth Amendment and First Amendment and criminal theft violations that you saw. Can you elaborate on what you saw then?
Well, I saw them take it, and I went with you to show them the policy, and they said, okay, yes, that was the policy. So they sent me back while you stayed there, they sent me back to get the recorder with another person, and the person told them to give me the recorder, and it came back.
Are you aware that they changed their policy so that now they can take a voice recorder in violation of the First and Fourth Amendment?
I think that's an abomination. I think it just shows that they do not want anybody to be able to document their failings and their illegal use and their illegalities. They don't want anybody to document anything in the courtrooms except them, and we're supposed to trust them when they take away our rights. I find it more and more intrusive upon our ability to protect ourselves. We have little left to protect ourselves now, and they are pushing more and more, taking more and more away from our rights to be able to protect ourselves, especially in a court of law, especially when we go talk to them. We need to document it. They have had the right to document it for so long, and they have put misleading remarks down on their paperwork and everything, so that no, we cannot trust them anymore. We have to be able to document it. They they have the lights, they have the cameras, they have everything, and then they have the ability to change that, redact things so that we can't know the full scope. We can't even know the full scope. They redact things out of our own personal reports. It's not justice.